Imagine the email. It arrives late on a Tuesday, long after the rest of the office has gone dark. The only light in the room is the cool, white glow of your monitor, painting long shadows on the walls. You've been chasing this promotion for 2 years. Longer nights, sacrificed weekends. You've done the work. You've earned it. And there it is. The subject line isn't from HR. It's sterile, vague. Conditional offer, Project Sentinel. Your heart kicks. This is it. This is the door to the real inner circle. The kind of job that doesn't just change your salary, it changes your life. You open it. The offer is better than you imagined. The title, the compensation, the security clearance, it's a generational leap. But then you see the clause. Right there, under the standard drug screening and background check, is a new line item. Condition of employment includes the successful integration of the Neuralink Sentinel implant. A link is attached. Learn more about our commitment to neurological security and enhanced productivity. It doesn't feel real. Not yet. So let's just pause here for a second. Settle in. Wherever you're listening from, a late-night drive, a quiet bedroom, maybe you're just killing time between tasks. Welcome. We've created this little space for thought experiments just like this one. If you enjoy these late-night conversations, maybe consider subscribing. It's just a quiet way of letting me know you're out there. Now, back to that screen. Right now, in our world, brain-computer interfaces, or BCIs, are primarily seen as medical miracles. Elon Musk's company, Neuralink, which just recently began its first human trials, has a stated mission of helping people with paralysis regain their ability to communicate and interact with the world. The goal is to restore lost function, sight for the blind, movement for the paralyzed. These are noble, unambiguous goals. They're about giving people back what was taken from them. But technology is never just about its first noble purpose, is it? The divergence point, the moment our world splits from the one in this email, isn't a dramatic explosion. It's a quiet shift in marketing. It begins not as a mandate, but as an exclusive perk, a voluntary upgrade for the best and brightest. To get a job at the White House, the Pentagon, NASA, Google, or Tesla, you need the implant, the Neuralink Sentinel. The public pitch is brilliant, clean, and terrifyingly logical. First, there's national security. For government jobs, the Sentinel is positioned as the ultimate defense against espionage. An unhackable mind. No more leaks, no more foreign agents, because your cognitive state is part of the security network. Your loyalty isn't just assumed, it's monitored. For the corporate world, the pitch is productivity. Imagine a team of engineers, traders, or surgeons operating at a level of focus and data processing that a normal human brain just can't achieve. It's not about working longer hours. It's about making the hours you work perfect. But here's the real sales pitch, the one that gets people to line up. Your new employer will subsidize mental wellness firmware,
a patch for your anxiety, a software update that dials down the noise of depression, increased focus, regulated moods, a cure for the very burnout their corporate culture creates, mental health care bundled with your 401k. It's an irresistible offer for the ambitious, a fast track to the top with an emotional safety net included. All it costs is a small outpatient procedure. Admit it, if the offer was good enough, if it guaranteed the life you've been working so hard for, you'd at least read the brochure, wouldn't you? The email is still there, glowing on your screen. The acceptance button pulses with a soft, friendly blue light. This isn't a dystopian threat from a faceless government. It's an invitation, a key to a better life offered by the most innovative companies on Earth. So, what's one little surgery for a chance at a perfect life? The click of the accept button was silent, but it echoed through your entire life. A week later, you're in a place that doesn't feel like a hospital. It's called a Neuralink Integration Center, and it's located in a sleek, unmarked building of glass and brushed steel in a suburban tech park. Inside, it smells like a new car, that faint, sterile scent of clean plastics with an undercurrent of something that might be ozone. The air is cool and still. The chairs in the waiting room are ergonomic masterpieces, molded from a single piece of white polymer. There are no magazines, only tablets locked to the Sentinel welcome screen. This isn't surgery. This is an upgrade, an onboarding. That's the language they use, and you find yourself adopting it because it's easier. It keeps the fear at a manageable distance. A woman with a warm, practiced smile calls your name. She's an integration specialist, not a nurse. She leads you to a private room that feels more like a minimalist lounge than an operating theater. She hands you a tablet, the paperwork. It's not a liability waiver, it's a EULA, an end-user license agreement. Hundreds of pages of dense legal text you scroll through, your thumb gliding over paragraphs about proprietary cognitive data, neural performance metrics, and the company's right to deploy mandatory firmware updates to ensure optimal functionality and user security. You're signing away the rights to the raw data of your own consciousness, the same way you agree to the terms of service for a new app. The absurdity of it almost makes you laugh, but the sound gets caught in your throat. This is the new cost of ambition, a signature on a digital line, surrendering the last private frontier. The specialist's answers to your questions are smooth, polished, and circular. Will you be able to read my thoughts? You ask, the words feeling childish and clumsy. We don't read thoughts, she says, her smile unwavering. That's a common misconception. The Sentinel implant monitors neural patterns for efficiency and security compliance. Think of it like a fitness tracker for your mind. It measures focus, engagement, and cognitive load. It doesn't see the content, just the shape of the container. The shape of the container. Your mind reduced to a piece of company hardware. You ask what happens if you want it removed. She refers you to Section 14, subsection C of the agreement, the part about voluntary termination of employment and the associated costs of neurological decommissioning. The numbers have a lot of zeros. You'd be in debt for life. The implant isn't a perk, it's a cage you're willingly stepping into because the food inside is just that good. Then comes the physical preparation. They don't shave your whole head, just a small, discreet patch behind your ear where the induction port will sit flush against your skull. The buzz of the electric clippers is a low, intimate hum, a sound of finality. The coolness of the antiseptic wipe on your skin makes you shiver. You lie back on the chair, which reclines with a soft pneumatic hiss. The ceiling is a blank white canvas, and then it descends. The surgical robot. It's not some clunky industrial machine. It's elegant, angelic, a single gleaming white arm that moves with a silence and precision that is utterly inhuman. There's no surgeon in the room, just a technician behind a glass wall monitoring vitals. The whole process is automated, perfect, flawless. And that's the most terrifying part. There's no human hand to tremble, no fallible doctor to sue. Just a perfect algorithm executing a perfect procedure. In this sterile silence, with that impossible machine hovering over you, the corporate jargon melts away. This isn't onboarding. This is an intrusion. The calm you've been forcing yourself to maintain begins to fray at the edges. Your inner monologue, that constant companion, that private narrator of your life, is suddenly screaming. Every stupid song you've ever had stuck in your head, every embarrassing memory, every quiet doubt and secret hope, they all feel incredibly precious now, like artifacts about to be sealed in a tomb.
Have you ever tried to consciously stop thinking? Just for a moment. The harder you try, the louder the noise in your head becomes. Now imagine someone else is about to install a volume knob in there. Imagine knowing that your daydreams, your idle wanderings, your very capacity for boredom will soon be measured as cognitive inefficiency. You are about to become a metric. A profound, primal grief washes over you. You are mourning the death of your private self, the end of the only truly safe space you have ever known. The integration specialist's voice comes over a hidden speaker, as soft and soothing as a guided meditation app. We are now beginning the procedure. You may feel a slight pressure. Please try to relax your mind. Relax your mind. A final, cruel joke. The robotic arm hums, a sound so high and thin you feel it in your teeth. A needle, a microscopic filament, they called it, finer than a strand of your own hair, lowers itself toward you. You close your eyes. You try to think of something beautiful, something pure, something you want to be your last untainted thought. But all you can think is, what have I done? You wake up. But
It's not like waking up has ever been before. For a moment, everything is normal. The same gray light filtering through your window, the distant hum of city traffic. Then you become aware of it. The silence in your head isn't silent anymore. It's occupied. There's a background process running, a low-level hum of activity that isn't yours. It feels like moving into a new apartment and realizing with a creeping dread that you can hear the faint rhythmic breathing of someone in the next room, even through the thickest wall. You reach up and touch the spot behind your ear. Your fingertips find a small, perfectly smooth, cold circle of metal, flush with your skin. The induction port, your new umbilical cord to the corporate cloud. As your consciousness fully comes online, it happens. There's no sound, no voice. It's more like a drop of ink in a glass of water. A packet of information unfurls in your mind, crisp and instantaneous. Sentinel OS 4.1. All systems nominal. Biometrics calibrated. Welcome, User 734. User 734. Not even your name. Just a number. You are a node on the network now. You sit up, and the world feels sharper. Colors seem more distinct. The texture of the sheets under your hand feels intensely real. It's part of the package, the enhanced sensory acuity mentioned in one of the digital brochures. They sold it as a benefit, but it feels like the world has had its volume turned up to an uncomfortable level. There is no filter, no comfortable haze of a groggy morning. You are instantly, brutally awake. You go to make coffee, the old ritual of your morning. But your movements are too precise, too efficient. There's no wasted motion. The part of your brain that used to wander while you waited for the water to heat up, thinking about a movie you watched, a conversation from last night, a vague worry about the future, is quiet. It's being discouraged. When your mind starts to drift toward an anxious thought about the day ahead, you feel a gentle, persuasive nudge. It's not a shock, it's not a pain. It's a subtle redirection of your neural pathways, a whisper in the code of your consciousness that says, that is not a productive thought stream. Let's focus on the task at hand. The task at hand is making coffee. And so you find yourself utterly, completely absorbed in the act of making coffee. It's the most focused cup of coffee you have ever made in your life, and it is terrifying. You walk into your new office building. The security gate doesn't require a keycard. It scans your Sentinel's unique neural signature as you approach and slides open with a silent, welcoming hiss. You are the key. You are the password. The office is filled with other linked employees. You can't see their implants, but you can feel it in the way they work. There is a deep, unnerving calm to the place. No idle chatter. No one staring into space, daydreaming. Just the quiet, focused hum of minds, all seamlessly networked, all performing at peak efficiency. They look up and meet your eyes, and their gaze is steady, clear, and empty. It's the look of people who have forgotten how to be bored. Your new manager greets you. Her smile is perfect. Her focus on you is absolute. It feels like you are the only person in the world. This is what peak engagement looks like, and it's the most inhuman thing you have ever experienced. You sit at your new desk, and your terminal logs you in before you can even touch the keyboard. Your projects, your data, your tasks for the day, they aren't just on the screen in front of you. A summary is fed directly into your short-term memory, a direct data injection. You simply know what you need to do. You begin to work, and it's effortless. Data flows, ideas connect. The mental fog that used to creep in around mid-afternoon is gone. This is the productivity they promised. It's real. And for a moment, you feel a thrill, a sense of power. Then, a flicker of something else, a memory of your old job, the frustrating, inefficient, wonderfully human mess of it all. You remember laughing with a coworker over a stupid mistake. You remember the satisfaction of finally solving a problem after a long, difficult struggle. A wave of something like nostalgia, something like grief washes over you. And then it's gone. Not faded, not pushed away. It is cleanly, surgically excised from your emotional state. A synthetic calm replaces it. Smooth, placid, and utterly foreign. It feels like a chemical blanket has been laid over your mind. You didn't ask for it. You didn't approve it. The mental wellness firmware simply detected an unproductive emotional spike, grief, regret, and corrected it. You stare at your screen, your hands hovering over the keyboard. Your heart is beating at a perfectly regulated 72 beats per minute. Your mind is clear, focused, productive. You have just been optimized. And you realize the truth in that cold, clean, corporate silence. The implant isn't just a tool you use. It's a system that is actively, constantly using you. And you've just discovered that your own sadness is now considered a bug in the software. The first crack in your new perfect world appears during your lunch break. You meet an old friend from your previous job at a small sandwich shop downtown, a place you used to go to complain about your bosses, to gossip, to waste an hour in the comfortable, inefficient way that humans do. The moment he sits down, you feel it, a subtle, internal friction. The Sentinel OS, ever present, ever vigilant, flags the conversation as low priority, non-critical social interaction. It doesn't stop you from talking, but it's like trying to run in shallow water. There's a constant, gentle drag on your attention. Your friend is telling a long, rambling story about a problem he's having with his landlord. In your old life, you would have leaned in, offered advice, shared a similar story. Now, your mind is a marvel of efficiency. It has already parsed his narrative, identified the core problem, calculated 3 optimal solutions, and filed the anecdote away as irrelevant data. You are ready to move on, but he is still talking. You find yourself just watching him. His expressive hand gestures, the way he gets sidetracked, the slight imperfections in his speech. It's all so messy, so biological. The Sentinel is feeding you a constant, silent stream of data. Heart rate steady. Cognitive engagement at 27%. Attention drift detected. Your friend trails off mid-sentence. He's looking at you. "Are you okay?" he asks. "You seem distant." You force a smile. "Just got a lot on my mind. New job's intense." But it's a lie. Your mind is clearer than it has ever been. It's the world that has become blurry and out of focus. He can feel the wall between you. You're here, but you're not present. You're running on a different operating system now, and it's not backwards compatible with your old life. The sandwich tastes like ash. The real horror arrives on Friday afternoon. An email notification slides into your consciousness, not your inbox, your actual mind. Subject: your weekly cognitive performance report is available.
You don't click a link. You simply access it. The report blossoms in your mind's eye. A clean, corporate infographic of your own consciousness. It's broken down into several key metrics, each with a score out of 100. Focus cohesion, 98.7%. Data retention, 99.2%. Cognitive efficiency, 96.5%. All green, all well above the team average. For a second, a spark of pride, of gamified satisfaction flickers inside you. You're winning. Then you see the other sections. Emotional volatility index, 4.8%. There's a small amber-colored warning icon next to it. You drill down. The report shows a graph of your week. There's a sharp spike on Tuesday morning. The system labels it uncorrelated emotional event, suboptimal response pattern detected, firmware correction deployed. It was the moment you felt that wave of nostalgia, the memory of your old messy life. The Sentinel didn't just smooth it over, it recorded it. It graded it. It marked you down for feeling sad. Beneath that, there's another line item, this one with a red flag. Deviant thought pattern occurrences, 1. Your blood runs cold. You access the details. The timestamp corresponds to your lunch with your friend. The system logs a period of sustained, non-task-oriented internal narrative. It's talking about your mind wandering, your daydreaming. The report offers no judgment, just data. But the implication is brutally clear. Your brain is a company asset, and it is underperforming. Your internal monologue is a security risk. Your nostalgia is an error message. You sit there in the quiet, humming office, surrounded by your perfectly focused colleagues, and a new kind of fear takes root. A deep, paranoid claustrophobia. Your mind is no longer a sanctuary. It is a monitored workspace. It's an open-plan office with 1,000,000 invisible managers, and you're always on the clock. Have you ever been in a quiet room
and suddenly become aware of your own breathing, and then you can't stop being aware of it? It's like that, but with your own thoughts. You start to police yourself. An idle thought about the weekend? You cut it short. A flicker of irritation at a condescending email? You force it down, terrified it will register on your volatility index. You begin to actively try to think.
You don't click a link. You simply access it. The report blossoms in your mind's eye, a clean corporate infographic of your own consciousness. It's broken down into several key metrics, each with a score out of 100. Focus cohesion, 98.7%. Data retention, 99.2%. Cognitive efficiency, 96.5%. All green, all well above the team average. For a second, a spark of pride, of gamified satisfaction flickers inside you. You're winning. Then you see the other sections. Emotional volatility index, 4.8%. There's a small amber-colored warning icon next to it. You drill down. The report shows a graph of your week. There's a sharp spike on Tuesday morning. The system labels it uncorrelated emotional event, suboptimal response pattern detected, firmware correction deployed. It was the moment you felt that wave of nostalgia, the memory of your old messy life. The Sentinel didn't just smooth it over. It recorded it. It graded it. It marked you down for feeling sad. Beneath that, there's another line item, this one with a red flag. Deviant thought pattern, DTP occurrences, 1. Your blood runs cold. You access the details. The timestamp corresponds to your lunch with your friend. The system logs a period of sustained non-task-oriented internal narrative. It's talking about your mind wandering, your daydreaming. The report offers no judgment, just data. But the implication is brutally clear. Your brain is a company asset, and it is underperforming. Your internal monologue is a security risk. Your nostalgia is an error message. You sit there in the quiet, humming office, surrounded by your perfectly focused colleagues, and a new kind of fear takes root. A deep, paranoid claustrophobia. Your mind is no longer a sanctuary. It is a monitored workspace. It's an open-plan office with 1 million invisible managers, and you're always on the clock. Have you ever been in a quiet room and suddenly become aware of your own breathing, and then you can't stop being aware of it? It's like that, but with your own thoughts. You start to police yourself. An idle thought about the weekend? You cut it short. A flicker of irritation at a condescending email? You force it down, terrified it will register on your volatility index. You begin to actively try to think cleaner thoughts, productive thoughts, safe thoughts. You start performing for the algorithm that lives inside your skull. You look across the office at the other linked employees, their faces calm and placid, bathed in the glow of their screens. Are they doing it too? Are they all smiling and nodding on the outside, while desperately trying to suppress a deviant thought on the inside? Is this what it means to be successful now? To live inside a silent, invisible panopticon,
constantly curating your own soul for a weekly performance review?
And for the first time, you think about the unlinked, the people outside this building, your friend at the sandwich shop. They are disorganized, inefficient, emotionally volatile. They are also free, and you have just realized with absolute soul-crushing certainty that you will never be free again. A month passes, and you learn. You learn to live with the ghost in your skull. You learn to practice what you call mental hygiene. You actively steer your thoughts away from the messy, unproductive weeds of memory. You learn to build clean, efficient, corporate-approved thoughts. You meditate on spreadsheets. You find a Zen-like calm in focusing on workflow diagrams. You are, for all intents and purposes, the perfect employee. Your weekly performance reports are a sea of green. 99.8% focus, 99.9% efficiency. Your emotional volatility index is so low, it's barely a measurable signal. You have successfully gamified your own consciousness. You are winning. And then, one Monday morning, you try to open the project folder for Project Chimera, a high-level initiative you've been leading. Access denied. The message is instantaneous, delivered not on your screen, but as a sterile informational packet in your mind. It's not an error. It's a statement of fact. You try again. Access denied. A cold knot tightens in your stomach, and for the first time in weeks, you feel a genuine, unsanitized spike of panic. The Sentinel's wellness firmware immediately kicks in, trying to smother the feeling with a wave of synthetic calm. But the panic is too strong. It's like trying to put out a grease fire with a damp cloth. You look around the office. Nothing has changed. The quiet hum of productivity is the same. No one is looking at you. No one knows that you've just become a ghost. You see David. David is a senior analyst who has been with the company for 20 years. He's linked, of course. But for the last 6 months, David has been adrift. He still comes to the office every day. He sits at his desk from 9 to 5, but he's on no active projects. He's in no meetings. He just stares at his screen, which displays a single company-approved cognitive enrichment module, a sort of educational screensaver for the mind. People are polite to David. They say hello in the morning. They nod at him by the coffee machine, but they don't talk to him. They don't engage. He is a non-entity. The linked have a word for people like him, a quiet piece of office slang that is never written down but is universally understood. He's a legacy contributor, a piece of obsolete hardware kept on the network for reasons no one can quite fathom. You walk over to his desk. This is the first time you've initiated a conversation with him in months. David, you say, your voice quieter than you intended. Quick question, are you having any issues accessing the Chimera files?
He looks up from his screen, and his eyes take a moment to focus on you.
as if he's returning from a great distance. His face is calm, but it's the calm of a still, deep lake that you know is miles deep. "I was removed from Project Chimera 6 months ago," he says, his voice flat. "Removed? Did they reassign you?" A slow, sad smile touches his lips. It's the most genuine human expression you have seen since you started working here. "They don't reassign you," he says, so quietly you can barely hear him. "They just update your permissions." He turns back to his screen, the conversation over. He has given you his diagnosis. You are one of them now. Throughout the day, it continues, a cascade of digital disenfranchisement. A meeting you were supposed to lead disappears from your cognitive calendar. Your access to the primary servers is downgraded from administrator to read only. Team communication channels silently remove you from their member lists. It's the digital equivalent of being unpersoned, delivered with the sterile politeness of a 404 error. There is no HR meeting. There is no manager pulling you aside for a difficult conversation. There is no accusation, no explanation. You have been deemed neurologically inefficient, or perhaps neurologically unreliable. Your deviant thought patterns, your emotional volatility from weeks ago, that was your trial. This is your sentencing. Have you ever had that dream where you're trying to scream but no sound comes out? This is the corporate version of that. You are screaming on the inside, a torrent of pure, unadulterated panic. But the Sentinel is working overtime, flagging it, reporting it, and trying to patch it, all while your external biometrics remain perfectly calm. To anyone who looks at you, you are just another focused employee staring at their screen. You haven't been fired. That would be inefficient. It would involve paperwork, severance, and exit interview. No, the system has a better solution. It repurposes you. You are now a failed node, a liability to be contained. You will be kept here, at your desk, on full salary, until the system determines what to do with you. You are a bug, and the machine is deciding whether to delete you or to quarantine you and study you for imperfections. You look at David, and he's looking back at you. For the first time, you see the terror behind his placid expression. He's not a ghost. He's a prisoner. And you've just been moved to his cell block. Days turn into a week, then 2. Your existence becomes a masterpiece of silent, bureaucratic horror. You arrive at 9. You leave at 5. In between, you perform the act of working. You stare at your screen, which now displays a rotating series of approved cognitive enrichment modules. You learn about the history of orbital mechanics. You review the principles of sustainable agriculture. Your mind is being filled with useless, safe trivia, like a prisoner being fed tasteless nutrient paste. You are not being paid to work. You are being paid to be neurologically warehoused. The worst part is the silence. The Sentinel firmware, in its infinite wisdom, has optimized your emotional state for your new role. It has given you the gift of profound,
unshakable apathy. The panic is gone. The rage is gone. It has all been smoothed over, patched, corrected. You feel a constant, low-grade placidity, the emotional equivalent of beige. And in this synthetic calm, you begin to notice things. It starts with the flickering, a tiny, almost imperceptible visual artifact in your mind's eye, a brief stutter in the flow of information. It's a bug, a single, beautiful, imperfect line of code in this perfect prison. You start to chase it. During the long, empty hours at your desk, you begin to experiment. You push the limits of your own cognition, not with productive thoughts, but with deliberate, targeted chaos. You try to remember the lyrics to every song you've ever known, all at once. You try to visualize the most complex, paradoxical geometric shapes you can imagine. You create storms of nonsensical data, of pure, useless noise, all inside your head. You are throwing rocks at the walls of your cell just to see if they're solid. Most of the time, the system corrects you. It gently nudges your thought patterns back to the placid center. But sometimes you succeed. For a fraction of a second, you can force a glitch, a moment of static, a flicker of pure, unmonitored freedom. And in one of those flickers, you see it. It's not a thought. It's an image, a string of data embedded in the static itself. A QR code flashing in your consciousness for less than a millisecond before the sentinel scrubs it clean. But you saw it. You, the real you, the ghost inside the machine, saw it. That night, you leave the office, and for the first time, you don't go home. You go to a public library, a relic from the unlinked world. You use a grimy, outdated terminal, the plastic of the keyboard sticky beneath your fingertips. You draw the QR code from memory onto a scrap of paper and scan it with the machine's cheap webcam. It leads to a hidden forum on the dark web. The interface is archaic, text-based, no corporate gloss. The forum is called the Glitch Market, and it is a revelation.
It's a black market, but not for drugs or weapons. The currency here is cognitive liberty. People are selling exploits, rogue firmware, rootkits for the soul. There are programmers, former neuroscientists, and disgruntled ex-employees, all unlinked, all working in the digital shadows to fight the system. They have names for everything. The state of placid emptiness you're in, they call it the hush. The people like David and yourself, warehoused by the company, you're bricked. You find what you're looking for, a user named Static. His profile is simple. I don't fix the cage, I make the bars wider. You follow a complex, anonymized protocol to arrange a meeting. The location is an old, abandoned subway station deep beneath the city. You walk down crumbling concrete stairs, the air thick with the smell of damp earth and decay. Down here, in the belly of the old world, there is no network, no signal.
For the first time in months, your Sentinel OS is offline. And the sudden, absolute silence in your head is deafening. The ghost is gone. You are completely, terrifyingly alone in your own mind. It is the most beautiful feeling you have ever known. He's waiting for you by the rusted shell of an old train car. He's young, painfully thin, with restless, paranoid eyes that never stop moving.
It's a black market, but not for drugs or weapons. The currency here is cognitive liberty. People are selling exploits, rogue firmware, rootkits for the soul. There are programmers, former neuroscientists, and disgruntled ex-employees, all unlinked, all working in the digital shadows to fight the system. They have names for everything. The state of placid emptiness you're in, they call it the hush. The people like David and yourself, warehoused by the company, you're bricked. You find what you're looking for, a user named Static. His profile is simple. I don't fix the cage, I make the bars wider. You follow a complex, anonymized protocol to arrange a meeting. The location is an old, abandoned subway station, deep beneath the city. You walk down crumbling concrete stairs, the air thick with the smell of damp earth and decay. Down here, in the belly of the old world, there is no network, no signal. For the first time in months, your Sentinel OS is offline. And the sudden, absolute silence in your head is deafening. The ghost is gone. You are completely, terrifyingly alone in your own mind. It is the most beautiful feeling you have ever known. He's waiting for you by the rusted shell of an old train car. He's young, painfully thin, with restless, paranoid eyes that never stop moving. He's unlinked, and he wears his biological freedom like a badge of honor. You're bricked, he says. It's not a question. You've got the hush. I can see it. You have the posture of a mannequin. You can only nod. They didn't just make you compliant, Static says, his voice a low, angry rasp. They made you boring, the ultimate form of control. They don't need to kill dissidents if they can make them too apathetic to dissent. He looks at you, a mix of pity and contempt in his eyes. You came looking for an off-ramp. There isn't one. The hardware is for life. Then what do? You ask, your own voice hoarse from disuse. I sell noise, he says. He holds up a small jury-rigged device. I can't get it out, but I can give you a patch, a piece of rogue code that creates a small encrypted partition in your own neuroarchitecture, a safe house, a place the Sentinel scanners can't penetrate, a place where you can think whatever the hell you want. He names his price. It isn't money. He wants your access. Even as a bricked employee, your neural signature can still get him past the first layer of security at the integration center downtown. He needs a 5-minute window.
It's an insane, suicidal risk. Why, you ask? Because this isn't about productivity, he hisses, his eyes burning with an intensity you'd forgotten was possible. It's about the sanctity of the last inch of private property we have left, the space between our own ears.
He holds out the device. The choice is laid bare. Continue to live in the sterile, beige prison of the hush, a comfortable ghost in a corporate shell. Or risk absolute ruin, not just your job, but your very mind, for a tiny, hidden corner of your own brain where you can finally be yourself again. What would you risk just to feel properly, beautifully, humanly angry again? The subway station felt like a tomb, and in it, you were reborn. You said yes. There's no real way to describe the decision. It wasn't a choice made with logic or reason. The hush firmware fought against it, flooding your system with calming neutrality, telling you that this was an unnecessary risk, an inefficient deviation from your baseline function. But underneath that chemical blanket, something else was kicking, a primal cellular instinct for survival. Not the survival of your body, but the survival of yourself. You were agreeing to let a stranger perform unregulated brain surgery on you in a dirty hallway, using a device he probably built from scrap parts, all for the promise of a closet in your own mind. It was the most desperate and the most human thing you had done in a very long time. The plan was terrifyingly simple. Static called it exploiting the invisibility cloak of the obsolete. No one pays attention to the bricked. You're a piece of furniture that breathes. The next day, you would walk into the lobby of the integration center, the same pristine, soulless building where you were processed, with Static at your side. The cover story? He was an external wellness consultant, here to perform a legacy audit on your cognitive state to see if you could be reintegrated. It was a perfect piece of corporate nonsense. It sounded just plausible enough, and was so mind-numbingly boring that no one would ever question it. The best lies are always hidden in bureaucracy. Walking through the city streets toward the center, you feel a new kind of dread. You aren't just lying to other people. You have to lie to the machine in your own head. The Sentinel is constantly monitoring your biometrics, your neural patterns. If it detects the telltale spike of anxiety, of deception, it will flag you. So you have to perform calmness. You have to actively meditate on the feeling of apathy the hush provides. Wrap it around yourself like a shield, while underneath, your true mind is vibrating with the terror of a cornered animal. Have you ever had to lie to yourself? I mean, really, fundamentally lie? To force one part of your brain to deceive another? It's a violation of the laws of your own personal physics, and it leaves a scar. The glass doors slide open. You and Static step inside. The air is cool and sterile. Your heart is a trapped bird, beating against your ribs. But your biometrics, according to the silent feed in your head,
are perfect. Pulse 70. Respiration steady. You are a perfect, broken employee.
You approach the security gate. This is the moment. It doesn't just scan an ID. It pings your implant directly, verifying your neural signature against the network. As you step through, you feel a faint, tingling probe in your mind. A digital query. Are you user 734? Are your systems nominal? Are you alone? You focus all your will on projecting one single, clean thought. I am user 734. Systems nominal. I am alone. The lie is so profound, so absolute, it feels like a sin. The gate stays open. You're through. You find a vacant server room in a disused sublevel. The air is hot and smells of ozone and dust. The door clicks shut behind you, and for a moment, the only sound is the roar of the fans and the frantic drumming of your own blood in your ears. Static doesn't waste time. He pulls out the device. It's not sleek or elegant. It's a mess of exposed wires and salvaged parts, held together with electrical tape and grim determination. He holds it like a weapon. "This is going to hurt," he says, his voice devoid of any bedside manner. The sentinel is going to fight back. It will think it's a virus. It's going to try and shut you down. Whatever you feel, whatever you see, you cannot make a sound. You can't even flinch. If a technician sees your biometric spike, they'll send a team down here in 30 seconds. You have to be a stone. Understand? You nod, your throat too tight to speak. He presses the cold, sharp points of the device against the induction port behind your ear. And then he turns it on. It is not a pain you have a name for. It is a digital seizure. A billion shards of broken glass grinding behind your eyes. Your mind becomes a battlefield. On one side, the Sentinel OS, clean, orderly, powerful, identifies the rogue code as a hostile attack. It deploys firewalls, security protocols, attempting to isolate and destroy the intrusion. On the other side is Static's code, a furious, chaotic, living thing, a virus that fights with the ferocity of a caged animal. And you are the ground on which this war is being fought. You see explosions of pure data. You hear the shriek of dying algorithms. Your own memories are corrupted, flickering in and out of existence like a damaged film. You taste static. You smell burning electricity inside your own skull. Every instinct in your body is screaming at you to run, to scream, to rip the device away. But you can't. You are a stone. You are a mannequin. You hold your body in absolute stillness, while a war for the future of your soul is waged in the space of a heartbeat. And then, as suddenly as it began, it stops. The silence that follows is absolute. Static pulls the device away. He's sweating, his hands shaking.
"It's in," he whispers. "The partition is built. Now, get me out of here."
He slips out the door and is gone. You are left alone in the hot, dark room. The usual placid silence of the hush is still there, but it's different now. You can feel a new presence, a door in a wall that was, a moment ago, completely blank. You tentatively reach out with your consciousness and you touch it. You open it. And for the first time in months, you feel something. Something pure and real and yours. It is a single, perfect, diamond-hard emotion rising up from the depths of your patched and sanitized soul. It is rage. You don't walk back to your desk. You float. The world outside your head has become a distant, muffled performance, and you are the star actor. You are playing the part of user 734, the bricked employee. You execute the role with flawless precision. Your posture is neutral. Your facial expression is placid. Your movements are economical. To the network, to the countless passive sensors monitoring the office, you are a model of benign inactivity. But on the inside, you are rioting. The partition static built is not a place, it's a state of being. It's a pocket of pure, unfirewalled reality carved into the sterile architecture of your mind. To access it, you don't turn a key. You simply step through a conceptual doorway. On one side is the hush, the calm, gray, corporate landscape of approved thought. On the other side is the sanctuary. And the sanctuary is on fire. The moment you step inside, the rage you felt in the server room comes back. But it's not alone. It has brought friends. Every emotion the Sentinel firmware has suppressed for months comes flooding back in a single tidal wave of overwhelming sensation. It is excruciating. It is agony. And it is the most alive you have ever felt. Grief hits you first, a raw, physical ache for the person you were. You remember your friend's face in the sandwich shop, the look of concern in his eyes as he saw you slipping away. The memory is no longer a detached data point. It has weight. It has texture. It tears at you. You feel the profound, irrevocable loss of your own past, and you mourn yourself as if you were already dead. Then comes the fear. Not the managed, low-level anxiety the Sentinel allowed, but a deep, primal terror. The sheer, gut-wrenching paranoia of your situation. You are a spy in your own body. You are a fugitive living inside the walls of the prison. Every moment, every thought is a risk. If they ever discover this sanctuary, they won't just fire you. What do you do with a piece of hardware that has been irrecoverably corrupted? You don't fix it. You wipe it clean. A full neurological reboot. You would cease to be. Have you ever had to put on a brave face at a family dinner? or smile your way through a meeting when your world is falling apart. Now, imagine that, but your face is your entire consciousness, and the performance never, ever stops. You are screaming, weeping, raging in your silent, secret room, while the face you show the world, the data you feed the machine, is a flat, calm, unbroken line. The strain is a physical pressure behind your eyes, but beneath the grief and the fear is the rage. And oh, the rage is beautiful. It's clean, it's pure. It's the engine at the heart of your new reality. It is a white-hot furnace burning away the chemical fog of the hush. You hate the company. You hate the placid smiles of your colleagues. You hate the elegant, sterile prison they have built. And you hate, more than anything, the person you let yourself become. You spend hours in your sanctuary. You pace its invisible floors. You scream into its soundproof walls. You slowly, painfully begin to reassemble the shattered pieces of your identity. You remember what it felt like to have a stupid opinion, to love a terrible song, to laugh so hard you couldn't breathe. These memories are no longer security risks. They are artifacts. They are holy relics of a life that was stolen from you. And then you discover something else. The rogue code static installed, it's not just a wall, it's a tool. It was designed to create noise, to fight the sentinel systems, and as it sits in your head, dormant but alive, it has started to listen. It's a rogue radio receiver, and it's starting to pick up other signals in the static. Late one afternoon, while you are safely inside your sanctuary, you feel it, a flicker. Not one of your own manufactured glitches. This one is external. It's a faint, rhythmic pulse, an echo of someone else's noise, somewhere else on the network. It's the digital equivalent of hearing a faint tapping from an adjoining cell. The bricked, the warehoused. You were told they were obsolete. You were told they were failures. But what if they aren't? What if David, staring at his screen day after day, isn't just a ghost? What if he's a sleeper cell? The realization hits you with the force of a physical blow. You are not alone. You look out across the office at the other placid faces, the other warehoused souls sitting quietly at their desks. How many of them have a secret room? How many of them are rioting behind a calm, corporate smile? The rage in your sanctuary cools, clarifies, and hardens into something new, something colder, sharper, and infinitely more dangerous. Purpose. Inside your sanctuary, you are an astronomer. You sit in the dark, staring into the static, listening. You are hunting for a signal in a universe of noise. The flicker you saw from David's direction was faint, fleeting, but it was a sign of intelligent life. It was proof that somewhere, in another silent prison just like yours, someone else was awake.
But how do you talk to them?
The Sentinel OS is the ultimate surveillance state. It monitors your biometrics, your vocal patterns, your data streams. It watches the content of your thoughts. A direct message is suicide. Trying to create coordinated glitches is like setting off flares in a blackout. The network security demons would swarm you in an instant, flagging the anomalous correlated activity as a breach. You cannot speak, you cannot write, you cannot signal. The solution, when it comes, is not born from cleverness. It is born from the profound, soul-destroying boredom of your new life. Your job, your only function, is to interact with the cognitive enrichment modules. You sit for 8 hours a day, your mind passively absorbing terabytes of pre-approved, useless information. But the system doesn't just care about what you see. It cares about how you see it. It logs every interaction, every file access, every query. It measures the duration, the frequency, the exact microsecond of the server request. The system is obsessed with data. And that is its weakness. You can't change the message, but what if you could become the message? What if you could use the very act of bureaucratic compliance as a language? The plan is insane, a desperate, impossible shot in the dark. From within your sanctuary, you focus. You find a single, deeply buried file within your orbital mechanics module, a technical schematic of a Voyager-era trajectory calculation. It is obscure, it is random, it is perfect. You hold the image of this file in your mind, and you project it outward, not with data, but with pure, focused intent. You aim it at David. In your mind, you scream his name. You scream the file number, and you scream a time. David, file 7 Gamma 9, listen to me. 11:52:015, please be there. It is the digital equivalent of a prayer. At 11:51, you place your consciousness on the precipice. On one side of the wall is your rage, your hope, your terror. On the other side is the placid, empty mask of user 734. At exactly 11:52:015, you send the request. You access the file. Your heart isn't beating. Your lungs have forgotten how to breathe. You are watching a low-level diagnostic log, a river of metadata that scrolls endlessly on a secondary cognitive screen. It's a privilege afforded to the bricked, the ability to watch the machine's plumbing, since you are no longer trusted to touch it. And then you see it. 2 lines of code appearing at the exact same instant. User 734, access request, file 7 Gamma 9, timestamp 11:52:015. User 1138, access request, file 7 Gamma 9, timestamp 11:52:015. User 1138.
David. He heard you. The validation is a physical shock, a jolt of lightning that nearly shatters your composure. He heard you. You are not alone. Inside your soundproof room, you weep, the first real tears you have cried in months. They are hot, and they are real.
You spend the next week building a language. It is the slowest, most painstaking form of communication ever devised. It is a language of metadata, of synchronized server pings. A shared access at the top of the hour is a dot. A shared access at the bottom of the hour is a dash. It is Morse code for the damned. It takes you 2 full days to transmit your first urgent question. D-O-T. D-A-S-H. D-O-T dot dot. H-O-W-M-A-Y. You imagine a secret army, a network of bricked employees, a silent, sleeping resistance waiting for a signal. You picture yourselves rising up, using this new language to coordinate, to fight back. The fantasy keeps you warm in the cold, digital silence. David's reply begins the next morning. A single ping at the top of the hour. A dot. The letter E. Then nothing for hours. Then 2 more pings. Another letter. The message trickles in, 1 bit at a time, over the course of 3 agonizing days. It is a masterpiece of paranoid communication. And when it is finally complete, you read it in your sanctuary, and the floor falls out of your universe. It is not a number. It is not a call to arms. It is a warning. The message is NOTSAFTEYLISTN THEHUSH is ALWAB. Watch your thoughts. You stare at the words etched in the metadata of your mind. A lab. They aren't warehousing you. They are studying you. You suddenly understand the profound, diabolical genius of the system. The glitch market, static, the rogue code. They weren't an oversight. They were a variable. The company knew that some percentage of its employees would resist. They knew you would search for a way out. And so, they provided one. The sanctuary isn't a hiding place you built. It's the other half of the experiment. They gave you just enough rope, and they are watching with cold academic curiosity to see exactly how you will hang yourself. Your rage, your grief, your secret rebellion, it's all just data for their next firmware update. You have not escaped the prison. You have just been moved to a different, more interesting cell. And the one-way mirror you've been screaming at? There have been people on the other side taking notes the entire time.
The sanctuary is no longer a fortress. It is a glass box. The rage, the grief, the beautiful, chaotic noise you reclaimed, it all curdles. The knowledge from David's message is a poison that seeps into the very foundations of your secret world. You can feel their eyes on you now. Not the passive algorithmic monitoring of the Sentinel OS, but something more deliberate. The cold, patient, analytical gaze of your true jailers, the researchers, the developers, the architects of this perfect, quiet hell. You have not escaped the prison. You have just been moved to a different, more interesting cell. And the one-way mirror you've been screaming at? There have been people on the other side taking notes the entire time. The sanctuary is no longer a fortress. It is a glass box. The rage, the grief, the beautiful, chaotic noise you reclaimed, it all curdles. The knowledge from David's message is a poison that seeps into the very foundations of your secret world. You can feel their eyes on you now. Not the passive algorithmic monitoring of the Sentinel OS, but something more deliberate. The cold, patient, analytical gaze of your true jailers, the researchers, the developers, the architects of this perfect, quiet hell.
Your sanctuary, your precious pocket of freedom, is now the most dangerous place in the universe. Every moment you spend inside it, every authentic thought you have, every flicker of rebellion, it isn't a victory, it's a donation. You are feeding the beast. You are providing them with the invaluable data of your own resistance. They are learning your tells. They are mapping your soul. You are teaching them how to build a better cage. The horror of it is so complete, so perfect. It almost feels like a piece of art. They haven't just trapped your body. They've weaponized your spirit against itself. You look across the office at David. His face is the same calm, placid mask it has always been. But you see it now. He isn't just warehoused. He's in a state of self-imposed exile. He has his own sanctuary, but he barely uses it. He rations his moments of true consciousness, starving the observers of data. His silence isn't apathy, it's a hunger strike. And you are faced with a choice, not a choice between freedom and servitude. That illusion is gone forever. This is a new choice, a darker and more profound one. You can continue to use your sanctuary. You can live in there, secretly, defiantly. You can feel your rage, your love, your humanity. You can keep the flame of your own identity alive in the dark. But you will do so knowing that every spark that flickers from that fire is being collected, cataloged, and used to patch the very holes you are trying to escape through. You would be preserving your own soul at the cost of ensuring no one else ever gets the chance. Or there is the other option, the one that makes the blood freeze in your veins. You can go back, willingly. You can walk out of your sanctuary, lock the door,
and throw away the key. You can deliberately, methodically, and permanently submerge yourself in the chemical bath of the hush. You can perform the ultimate act of self-erasure, not just pretending to be a hollowed-out corporate drone, but becoming one. You can starve the beast by starving yourself. You can destroy the lab by becoming the most boring, predictable, and useless specimen they have ever seen. The only way to win is to erase the player from the game. The only way to protect the sanctity of the self is to annihilate your own. So, let me ask you, listening to this in the quiet of your own unmonitored mind, what would you do? What do you do when your own thoughts have been turned into a weapon against you? What is the price of a secret? You are back at your desk. The office is humming with its usual placid efficiency. You look at your screen, at the pointless cognitive enrichment modules. You feel the cool, sterile presence of the Sentinel OS, waiting. And beyond that, you can almost feel them, the watchers behind the glass, leaning forward, taking notes, waiting to see what their most interesting new subject will do next.
This is your new job. Not to process data or manage projects. Your new job is to make the most important decision of your life, in a place where your very thoughts are the property of your employer. Do you fight a war you know you will lose, but go down swinging, a glorious, tragic supernova of data that they will mine for generations? Or do you perform the long, slow, quiet suicide of the soul, in the desperate, hopeful, and perhaps foolish belief that your silence will be a weapon? That your nothingness will be a shield for someone else someday? You close your eyes. The noise of your sanctuary, the beautiful, painful storm of your reclaimed self beckons to you one last time. It's warm in there. It feels like home. It is a trap. And you sit in the perfect silence, and you begin.